join us tonight. Glad you could all join us for our little live video broadcast here. There is probably going to be a slight delay between what I am saying and maybe the picture on the screen. Bob is also videotaping this, which he will upload to your page on the website if this is too confusing for you or to view it later. So basically, what I want to do first, and they're eating my notes and biting my toes all at the same time here. A couple things I wanted to talk to you about before we go into actually talking about each individual puppy. First of all, we're sorry that the webcam has kind of been up and down here lately. We're sure doing our best to fix the problem. We're not quite sure what the problem is, but I've been checking it more often and trying to keep it up for you, so I know how dependent a lot of you are on it. Anyway, to start with, I'd like to talk to you a little bit from day one about the whelping box, and of course now we're moved into the kitchen and the pen. From the moment the puppies are born, they have been walking on what we call a whelping carpet inside the box here. This is a special carpet that I originally purchased a couple years ago in Europe. And what it does is help to wick away the moisture if the puppy potties on it, and also provides them with secure footing for their feet while they are first crawling around in the whelping box. And that is a very early precaution against hip dysplasia. So there is a rhyme or reason for everything that we have down in the whelping box. The ledge that was around the outside was so that Mama would be able to lean back and a puppy would be able, there would be enough distance for a puppy to get around Mama and also not be laid on. So Bob and I spent probably about 3 weeks in that room and then moved him out here a little before 3 weeks because they're so big. And first time I have ever moved a litter out into the pen that early. And they were a little gun shy at first. They all stayed in a huge group, but as you can see, they're all over everywhere now and trying very hard to show me what nice teeth they have. Okay, I'd like to answer some of the questions I've been getting from a lot of you, which is great. I appreciate that and the willingness to know that you want to learn as much as you can about taking your puppy home. For those of you who have not had dogs before, or for those of you who have, it's been a while since you've raised a puppy, just let me remind you that it's going to take a lot of patience and a lot of time, and that's okay. But it will all pay off in the end. There's nothing better or easier to train, in my opinion, than a golden retriever puppy because their whole goal in life is just to please you, their master. Some of the questions asked, we've been talking about crates. Okay? The crate behind me that I have here in the pen is smaller than the one that I recommend you buy. If you're going to purchase a crate, I recommend the open wire one versus the big plastic travel ones. They tend to be a little claustrophobic for most of the puppies as they grow. You want to order the large size for the golden retriever. It's in the vicinity of 40 by 42 inches. Bob's in the background helping me here. 42 inches by 28 by 32. And most of the crates now will come with a wire partition in it. And what I recommend you do is when you take your puppy home, set the partition inside the crate and maybe give them that width of space to lay in at night. And what we're trying to do here is to teach them not to go in the area that they're laying in. You're going to have to experiment. Sometimes I would throw something in there that's easy to throw in the wash, like a towel versus a really nice puppy blanket at first. Sometimes I have a problem with puppies wetting the towel during the night, and if that's the case, then I take the towel out because you don't want to teach them or potty train them to towels, or if you happen to have one laying around in the bathroom, they will go on it as older adults. We had one older adult that was puppy trained to go on bath towels, and she still does to this day. So that would be Gemma. So just a word of caution about that. If you take it out and they're laying right on the metal, that's fine. Puppies should go probably, I would say, by the time they go home, maybe get up once during the night to go to the bathroom. Their bladders are not big enough to take them through the night, and usually they whimper when they have to go or bark. And just take them out, let them go potty, and then put them right back in the crate. And then as the puppy grows, you move the partition back, and then eventually you'll be able to take it out totally, and they should be trained to not go in their crate. I have an article by the Humane Society. A lot of people have misconceptions about crate training. I firmly believe in it, as does the Humane Society. And there's an article that will be going home in your puppy packet that talks about crate training. Dogs have kind of like a wolf den mentality, and most of them will like sleeping in their crate. All of our adult dogs sleep in crates every night, and half the time during the day I can go out into the dog room and the doors to the crates will be open and they'll be laying in there sound asleep anyway. So it's kind of like their safe haven. It's going to take them a while to get used to it. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. Your puppy's going to cry when you take it home. And please, it's okay if your puppy cries. What I do recommend, a lot of times Bob and I, put the crate in our bedroom. I am a very light sleeper, so that's not always the best for me. But in the beginning, first few days or so, I actually lay down by the crate and I might slide my hand in here. And 9 times out of 10, the puppy will come over and lay on my hand and go to sleep. Once the puppy goes to sleep, I go to bed. And I only do that one time. I might do it for a few nights, but I only get up and out of bed one time to do that. I would try that for the first 3 nights and cover the crate, everything but the front door. I put a sheet over the top of it so they can't really see anything. If your puppy has been exposed to the crate right now with their litter mates, they're in there every day that I clean out the pen. They don't like it very much, even with their litter mates. So I would expect that they're going to cry for a couple nights when you get home. Now, some of them will cry once, go to sleep, and that's all you'll hear from them until they have to go to the bathroom. Some of them are going to cry for 15-20 minutes, sleep for a while, and wake up and cry again. And it is so important, I can't emphasize enough, that there has to come a point in time where you let the puppy cry it out if he needs to. Last litter I had, after 2 weeks of time, the puppy owner was still laying down by the crate in order to go to bed, and every time she went to bed, the puppy would cry. So basically what that puppy was training their master to do was, I want you to lay here and sleep while I go to sleep. So it's critical that, and she called him, we talked for a while, and I just kind of laughed and I said, go to bed. If you need to move the crate out of the room or someplace where you can't hear it, that's fine. Let him cry. If you go away during the day, in the afternoon, I always crate our puppies. They're not free to roam all over the kitchen here. I'm trying to train them, again, to only go outside, and usually they won't go in the crate. And they don't like being in there during the day when I leave, but I put them in, close the door, might give them a Kong with some peanut butter or a bone, which I'll talk about in a bit, and leave. And they'll cry, and then they'll stop, and they'll be so anxious to see you when you go home. Important that you make the crate experience a very positive thing for your puppy. Don't ever punish your puppy by putting them in the crate. We have a tendency to feed all of our dogs in their crates, so they know that when it's dinner time, everybody goes to their own crate that they've all designated for themselves. Hey, you guys are ripping up my notes! And that's where they eat. If they get a treat at night before they go to bed, they go in their crate first. I close the door, hand them the treat, tell them good boy, good girl, and off goes the light and off goes me. So just a little bit of recommendations, I think, for the crate. I think it's a very positive way to help train your puppy. A lot of you have asked about toys. I know you're getting ready to purchase things if you haven't already for your new puppy. There are a few that I recommend and a couple that I do not recommend. Anything that is bright in color or soft and squeaks is great. If they get to the stuffing of the toy and begin to tear it out, you need to be sure that you either empty out the rest of the toy or throw the toy away, because if the stuffing is a ingested, it can clog the intestines of a small pup. So just something like this is one, they've torn, the bigger dogs have torn all the squeakers out, but there's no stuffing in it anymore, and they just love to drag it around. Some of our dogs just like to carry things around in their mouth. So be a little aware of that. I highly recommend Nylabones. Okay, this is a puppy Nylabone. It's Nylabones. Almost indestructible for a puppy, great to chew on. You want to be sure that this is a good size for the way they are right now, the size they are right now. When they go home, this will be too small. You always want to be sure that your toys grow as your puppy grows. You don't want to make anything too easy. That's my big toe, sir. Too easy for them to eat easily or just swallow. So as the puppy grows, just continue to expand the size of the toys. This is a great form, or a great thing to do for teething. The other thing that Bob and I discovered, that these are, and I purchased these at the pet store, they're called Red Barn dog treats. And this is actually, I used the small ones for the pups. This is actually part of a femur bone, and it is stuffed with peanut butter. And this will keep a puppy busy a long time in the crate. So it's good for keeping teeth clean, it's good for teething. If you notice the depth to the bone, if you're going to use this kind of bone, you want to be sure that it is bigger than an inch in width. It has been known that a puppy can chew if it's too narrow, and then the bone will get caught on his lower jaw behind his two big incisors, and then it's pretty hard to get off. That will require a trip to the vet. So if you're going to do something like this, you could go with the bigger ones, or I would say this is probably about 2.5 inches long or deep, and you can get them stuffed with beef, peanut butter, cheese, and bacon, all kinds of good stuff, but they really like those. The two toys that I am not going to recommend, number one, are the rawhides. We used to use rawhides all the time for teething. What I don't like about the rawhides is as they get soggy, they tend to, the puppy will be able to tear off small portions of the rawhide, and they can very easily choke on it, to the point where you may have to go into their throat and actually pull it out. To me, it's not worth taking that chance. So we don't use rawhides anymore at all. The other toy I do not recommend are the rope toys, or any of the toys that have the fringe on the end of them to the rope. Now you'll find rope toys, ouch, where the center part here is connected to a ball or whatever. Those are fine as long as the puppy or dog does not begin to fray what's in the center. This stuff is very easily pulled out by the puppy and ingested, and this again can clog intestines. I had a friend who had a golden who was chewing on one of these that was much bigger than this, and she ate the entire thing. And obviously this is not something she can pass, and it requires surgery to go in and get it. You will be amazed at what dogs will eat. We had one eat a bar of soap once, pantyhose, socks, dish rags. So any of you that have children with small, that have small toys, or I would kind of try to, doggy-proof your house before the puppy gets home. So that is one that I would not recommend. And if it's connected to something plastic and this gets frayed, I would throw the entire toy out. Again, not worth taking the chance for me. Okay. So that's pretty much about toys. We talked about vitamins. Eating. Okay, they are all on Purina One large breed puppy food right now. In the last month and a half since we purchased the food, they have now changed and made it into a blend food. What I'm doing right now is putting it in the blender. I grind it up, and then I mix it with warm, they're not real thrilled with cold water, but warm water, and kind of make it a soupy paste, and feeding it to them in the bowls. They're all doing very well with eating. We have no problem with that. As the puppies get a little bigger, I will grind it less. The one thing that I am a little concerned about, in fact I spoke to Purina today, is that they have now added chunks of chicken, a dried chicken, to the puppy food. Now that's fine when I put it in the blender and they grind it up. Now normally when they go home I stop grinding the food and I just soak it in water for about 10 minutes so it's nice and soft and they can eat it. I'm a little concerned about the chicken chunks that are in the food. They recommended to me today, if you want to switch to Pro Plan instead of Purina One, the puppy food is just kibble, or what I've been doing is picking the big chunks of chicken out of it. Pro Plan is much more expensive than Purina One. It is a very high quality food though. So I think the puppies are too young at this point to switch dog foods. It can be very tough on their systems, something that you have to do gradually. So I'm going to be really careful here as far as feeding them for the next couple weeks. And then when you take your puppy home, take them to the vet and talk to them about the food. If he recommends that you switch to another food, please do it with his recommendation. And they will tell you to do it very gradually because it can cause diarrhea or digestive problems if you change too quickly. So that's my one concern right now, because I know a lot of you have asked me what the dog food is, and right now they're still eating Purina One large breed. So I will work with that for the next couple weeks and see how they're doing. If they're doing fine here, and it's a great food. We've been on a number of premium quality dog foods. Some of them cause very loose stools, which is a mess, and you don't want to have to deal with that. Purina One, we have had great success with. You might just keep in mind that when you take the puppy home, that the first until maybe a month or so, if you feed them and you want to remain on the same food, that someone be there just in case. Okay, and they haven't had any reports of that, but I gave them my 2 cents worth today as a breeder, saying that I didn't think that was a very good thing because I'm worried about them choking on it. So your pups have all been exposed to or have been given new vet vitamins and joint supplements. And what I'm doing is taking a tablet each, tablet of the vitamin, tablet of the joint, putting it in a blender with the food, and once a day they get that. The new vet vitamins are full of antioxidants and are supposed to help fight the free radicals that cause cancer. The joint supplements you want to keep your dog on, it doesn't necessarily need to be new vet, but keep them on a glucosamine chondroitin supplement until the age of 2 at least. That's when the hips are forming and continue to grow. Do they work? I don't honestly know, but I will tell you that from the vitamins, the coats of the dogs are incredibly soft, and I feel like we are trying to do everything we can to help raise and develop sound, healthy puppies for you. And if there is, every possibility that the antioxidants do help fight against cancer that's become a problem in Goldens, then I feel it's worth the effort. So these will be your option to stay on. If you choose to purchase them, that'll be available in your puppy packet, and I will also send you home with enough vitamins to last probably about 12 days. When you take them home, they're only going to take 1/4 of a tablet a day. If you give it to them too quickly, it can cause diarrhea basically, which we don't want either. All right, who's stole my notes now? Here we go. Okay. I want to talk a minute, and this is probably one of the most important things that I can tell you just from my experience in the last 6 months. When you take your puppy home, if you've not had a dog before, or if it's been a while since you've had a puppy, you need to be the alpha human. Somebody in the family needs to be the alpha person in the home. If someone does not take over that role, the puppy will do it, and you're going to end up with things being very much out of control. And by that I mean, you know, when I give commands to a puppy, when I'm really serious about working with them, I give them one command and they follow my instructions, or I make them follow my instructions. When you take the puppy home, right now they're really good about sitting and shaking. We're going to work on down, and we're also going to work on the command off, which is used if they jump up on you or jump up on the side of the pen. I will start telling them off and putting them, actually taking the puppy and putting them back on the floor. You need to, when you take the puppy home, while he is eating, he or she is eating, you need to take the food away from them while they're eating. Pick up the bowl and put it back down. Or pick up a toy, put it back down. If they're something that they really enjoy, like those bones, they're going to get really intense and possessive. Take it away from him or her and give it back to them. If the puppy gnarls at you or would growl at you as you reach to take anything away, you need to nip that in the bud right off the bat. And you do that by grabbing the puppy's snout. I'm not going to do it because I don't want him to feel threatened. You grab the puppy's snout tightly, enough until they wince, and you tell them no. And I had that happen with the last pet, and I broke that dog of that in one day. He never did it again. But it has to be a family endeavor, okay? Both mom and dad need to be the alpha person over the dog. If you have small children, now would be the time to start telling them that the puppy is going to bite. It's going to nip at them. That's just puppy, the way they do it, like they were all sitting here chewing on my toes. Ordinarily what I do is take another toy and distract them. Take a bone and distract them. They're going to grab for coats, and they're going to hold on and want to pull or grab for pant legs. Teach your child, how to tell the puppy no. And I think if, above anything else, they need to remain calm if they can, because if they scream, all that does is intensify the puppy's anxiety, and it'll be even worse. So, just a really important tip when you get home, and for those of you who have small children who are, really excited when you bring the puppy home, the puppy's going to need to be in a timeout too. The puppy will need some time away from kids, a place where he can go and feel comfortable. I just don't want him to feel overwhelmed. We've had a lot of kids in and out of here, but to be with them on a regular basis, they just are going to need a little bit of space and guidance there. Of course, if you have any problems, I'm always going to be available to you by phone or email. Please call me and I will do my best to try to help you with the situation. But I think of anything I tell you, that's probably one of the most, or is the most important thing. You have to be the master of the dog, or the dog will master you. Obedience classes are phenomenal for that, in a way that the entire family can become involved with training the dog. They've been outside a couple times. It got a little cold last night, so we skipped it today. I hope to take them out tomorrow in the sun. They have already fallen in love with the tunnel. I believe that we got some video of that, and we'll try to get it uploaded for you. Every one of them has gone through the agility tunnel already. They like to sleep in it. They like to roll it. The hoop will be out there, and they're just kind of, checking it out right now. And as I teach them, I will actually teach them how to go through the hoop. There'll be a set of steps outside for them to go up and down. I will put the pool out eventually. It's a little cool right now. At only 5 weeks, they tend to get chilled pretty easily. So, and if you ever see a red tint inside the pen, it's from the heat lamp. When I give them a bath or anything right now, I need to have the heat lamp on, or they just sit there and shiver. So they're falling in love with all of that. They have found the wind chime, which is in the corner. Little Miss Light Pink here has really enjoyed that, and the rest of them are following along as she reaches to grab for it. And that is to teach them that there are noises up and above them besides on the same level. We are on segment 10 of the firework thunderstorm training, 10 out of 14. This is a CD by Master's Voice that I found online a couple years ago, which I think is great to help condition them to thunderstorms and fireworks. And a lot of study and, what's the word I'm looking for? Research went into the making of this tape, and it's been found that the beat of the music and the certain instruments that they use, for whatever reason, when we taped, you know, the first time that we turn it on, they usually sit down and kind of look at the CD player and sing along. And what it does, it starts out with just music, and then as the segments go on, it adds the natural thunderstorm noise in, and when they graduate from the end of the tape, we'll probably take a video, or if you've watched the other videos, they'll all be sound asleep in here while the thunderstorms and the fireworks are going on in the background. You will be going home with a CD of music called Kennel Calm, which I also order from Master's Voice, and input from past puppy buyers is that it's like a 15-minute CD of music. That's been a real help with trying to get them to calm down at night and get them to sleep. So, some of the things they've been exposed to, they've been on the tile floor, they of course have been on the carpet, they've been on the dirt surface, on a cement surface, they've been in the grass. They have eaten, let's see, they've had goat's milk, eggs, honey, of course the puppy chow, and then by the time we leave here, they'll have had some yogurt and maybe some banana, just to kind of introduce them to different things, all to stimulate their senses as they grow. Personalities are really beginning to come out. They're very playful, as you can see. Now we're going to get tired here and take a nap. That's the toy I don't want you to play with. Thank you. Yeah, good boy. Okay, everything that I've done here at Spirit Golden's will very quickly be undone if you don't continue with what I'm doing here at home. Okay, when you take the puppy home, you want to continue with the commands and teaching it. And maybe not the thunderstorm or firework thing. If you want that CD, I'd be more than happy to get it for you. You can let me know, or you can order it from Master's Voice yourself. It's available to the public. When you are training your dog, number one, you want to try to give them one command. And when I do that, or when I work with each puppy individually, I take their head so I have eye-to-eye contact with them, and I tell them, she's already done it, I tell them to sit, put my hand there. This is Mr. Green. Can you shake, Mr. Green? Good boy. Good boy. After every time they perform, or even if you help them and they sit, you want to praise them, okay? Every one of these puppies, they may not perform for you tonight, but every one of them will sit and shake. And we're going to start working on down.